Now, what I did is I created a new account under my wife, and I put in like $1,000 in the account. Okay. I made this account just for my wife. It's really for me, but it's so that I could show you it's to show you how I trade, right? And I didn't want to freak you out and show you my whole account with all my stuff because I didn't want to overwhelm you, and I wanted to keep some of that information private as well. And so what I'm going to show you is this kind of, brand new account I just started yesterday, for my wife, and I just threw in $1,000 there. Okay, so I've just logged in. This account only has $1,000, right? But I'm going to show you what I do. And it's a little tricky because we're 8 o'clock at night. The day is not technically done. And, the schedule of when I check is first thing in the morning and first thing at night, or, before I go to bed at night, basically. Okay, so, and I mostly do this on my phone because I like doing it from the hammock back there on my phone, right? See the hammock back there? So let's pretend I'm on my phone, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is I go to the markets, and I want to see the status of the market. And the first thing that I do is I go to my favorites. So on your mobile, if you do it on your mobile, your favorites is automatically there on default, which is really nice. The first thing that I do is I look at my favorites, and I sort them from top to bottom, always. And I want to see the most growth first, reducing down to the least growth. Okay, now I think I have, 15 coins here, so there's maybe 15 coins that I'm looking at. Remember though, when you're starting out, it is very, very, very important to keep just to a few. I really want you to just keep to a few when you're starting out. Remember, you're still beginners. So I want you to really honestly stick to 5. And I'm talking about just looking at 5. Trading, you should really only be trading 3. I've mentioned that a number of times in the course. You should really only be trading 3 coins at one time, max. Okay? If you want to hold long term, that's different. But for trading, 3. Okay, so this says 21. Actually, I have 21 favorites. Now I've just added a few because I'm checking out some other ones and, just curious about a few. Okay, so I start with what's gained the most. Algo, Link, Vet, Bitcoin Cash, Monero, HBAR, Augur, ADA, XTZ, Data, ZIL, BAT, and EOS. And then LTC, Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Litecoin, Ripple, Bitcoin. Now, if you had to say right now, is it a main coin growth momentum, or is it an altcoin growth momentum? So the first deduction ideally you're going to make, that I would make, is, okay, all altcoins are up. There's no main coins that are up. Maybe there's only one. Okay, there's one main coin that's really up, and that's Bitcoin Cash, and it's up 5.7%. Okay, and all I care about is the percentages, because I'm an investor and I'm looking at the percentages. Remember, I'm only spending 20 minutes a session, morning and night, and I need to gather a bunch of data quickly because it's first thing in the morning or last thing at night to set myself up for the next session. Okay. So no main coins are up. XRP is barely up a little bit. Litecoin's barely up a little bit. And Bitcoin is barely up a little bit. Okay. So it's definitely a main coin kind of day, which means the main coins are down and the altcoins are up. So it's an altcoin session. Right now the alts are up. So that's the first thing. And then I go down and I look and I want to see which ones are down. Okay. Now in my other account, I'm probably looking at, 30 coins. So I just threw a few of these in here just so that we can see and have some context. Okay, so the altcoins are going up, with the exception of Bitcoin Cash, which I like very much. So at this point I go, oh yay, Bitcoin Cash, perfect, because I love that one and I have lots of that one. That's great. 5%, that's healthy, that's solid. Now, if there's anything in the double digits, it's above normal. It's above normal. If you're taking notes, write this down. Anything in the double digits is definitely above normal. Okay? Nothing's in the double digits. Looks like this altcoin here, Algo, could be, but you know what? To be honest, guys, that's a brand new one I have not been studying. I've not been looking at. Couldn't tell you anything about it. Okay? Link is a very interesting one. I think we've mentioned it once or twice. I've been introduced to Link recently in the last few weeks, and it has very good potential. It has a very good use case and a very good scenario. So I'm very interested in, I'm quite interested in Link actually. And I've made some good trades and some good profit recently with Link. Okay, there's a little tip for you. And I'm even gonna do you a real solid, a real favor, and I'm gonna show you this. This is a projection of Link, okay, that I grabbed as an idea from someone else. So it's called Chain Link, okay, Chain Link. And we have July, so I snapped this in like middle of July, looks like, yeah. And we're in August now. So this person says there's a pattern here, and it's an uptrend. It's a bullish market uptrend for the last year and a bit. And then there's this pattern called the 1-day moving average over 200 days. That's this orange line. So the orange line is an indicator called the moving average, which we've talked about a few times. It's one of the simplest averages, or one of the simplest indicators, and it simply charts out and indicates to you what the average is moving over a certain period of time, the average price. So in this 200 days, this puppy is just going up. And every time the price crosses that line, there's a big surge upwards. So let's zoom in here. So price crosses the line, even here you could say, bang, big upswing. Price crosses the line, bang, initial, immediate big upswing, down, up, and then big up. Bang, price touches and crosses the line, boom, big up. Goes up, comes down, touches the orange line, big up again. This one just about touches, still another big increase. And look at this brilliant observation here, this brilliant pattern. There's a big up, a down, and then a big up again. And in this case, there's even another down. So big up, down, up, kind of mid-level, up, down, up. So remember that the price just does not move in a straight line. So if you've asked me the question of like, why would you just buy and hold? Because this has come up, once or twice in the last week or two. This is why, is because it does go up and then it goes down. You can take profit multiple times, okay? So I'm starting to like Link. I'm starting to enjoy it. This guy, he just leaves a big question mark because this is the future. And he says, where's it going to be in the future? So in my mind, I've cross-referenced this chart and I've seen, oh yeah, that's right. There's uptick momentum with Link, and then I'm going to see here it's second highest in my list for the day. Now, because you're looking twice a day, you should have a good recall, short-term memory recall of what the price is or has been. Okay? So I'm going to come here and I'm looking at this stuff like I just showed you. Is it an altcoin or is it a main coin? Okay, that sort of thing. Double digits? No. Okay, great, whatever. If there's a double digit, I'm going to be really curious about it. I'm going to look for news. I'm going to look for opportunities. I'm going to look for like what happened. Was there a big change, right? And the thing about the short-term memory recall that's important is I do not recall Link ever hitting $10. So I'm looking at this, and I'm gonna go, oh shit! I know Link was about $7. I made profit when it was about $7, I think, and then I know it went to like $9, and it's kind of been hovering around the $9 mark. And I'm literally having this conversation in my head. I'm going, oh, I see that it's up 6%, but you know, to my remembrance, Link is only around the $9 mark. So that it crossed 10 is a big deal. Remember, psychological. Crossing a big threshold is a psychological indicator. It's a psychological barrier. To go from 9 to 10 is a jump. To go from 9,000 to 10,000 is a big jump. To go from 10 to 15, those are big jumps. Those are important numbers. So here, wow, okay, Link is past $10 now. Congratulations to Link. Way to go. Awesome. What's going on? Let me go look at the chart. So I'm going to click in the chart. I'm going to see what's happening. And yeah, look at that big, look, I got my Bollinger Bands, right? Let me just get rid of these so it's a little cleaner. And can I full screen it? Here we go. Yeah, full screen. Okay, so look, I got my Bollinger Bands. Look at that, right? And we're looking at the hourly chart right now. So let's go back to the 1 day. This is interesting. I don't really use the the desktop. I do all my trading from the mobile recently, right? But look, here we see the daily chart. So remember, oh, look at this juicy thin channel, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about this thin, tight channel before. What did we say? When the channel is tight, it means there's a big price change coming. There's a big jump coming. So look, June, oh my gosh, even May. Well, this is kind of a tight range. Obviously I'm manipulating a little bit here with this, increase and decrease. But look, this tight channel means there's a change coming. So it's been in this tight channel for a while. Bang, here's this big increase. This is the daily. So in June or July, we could have seen, hey, something's got to happen with this. It's getting too compressed. It's got to jump out. Here's the 4 hour, another tight channel. Look at this. What is happening here? This is the 4 hour chart for Link. And it's still a quite tight channel. Now here it broke out from 7. This is around when I started to get into it. It was 7, to like 8.35%. Right? July 30th up to April or August 2nd. So I got out around like $8, something like that. And this channel could continue because it's tight and it's been tight for a long time. It's still relatively tight on the 4 hour chart. It's not that tight. We see some growth and some expansion happening here in the Bollinger Bands, but it has started to expand, but there is some contraction. So maybe it'll expand again, explode, take off. I don't know. Now let's look at the 1 hour. Wow, this still really manipulate. Okay, so now here we don't see it that much anymore, right? But you can manipulate this and see this is how you can see opportunities. This is how you might see things differently. Let me zoom in. So obviously there's this big breakout. Now, this is the 1 hour. So let's look on a shorter time frame. Okay, this is far too tight. This is the 5-minute chart now. That's more like it. So here we see this breakout here. I just want to understand what happened. So it's 960, 966, 964. It's really not that much. I mean, that's why investing in the long term makes so much sense, right? So the big change happened. There's a big change here. The 6th, that's today. So this is all today. Yeah, I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. So this is where all the majority of the activity has been. So a lot of activity. And I am thrown off a little bit because I'm used to looking at this on the mobile where it's more like, condensed and concise, and I'm more familiar with that. But anyway, so the price peaked at 10.30. Here it is down now at 10.10. Let's look at the weekly and just see what the heck is happening here. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. So this is a much larger time frame, the weekly. I don't really look at the 3-day on the mobile. They don't give you that option, but here you can see it on the mobile. So we're either going to see a continual growth with Link because it's up so high, or we're going to start to see it come down. But it's been gaining a lot of popularity and it's making a lot of progress. So we could see a lot more growth with Link. Anyway, it's an altcoin. You're going to be a little careful with that. But I think a long-term Link will be good. And you got to do your own research as always, okay? So coming back to what I do daily, so that's what I'm looking at here, what's down. Now, when I look at what's down, I'm looking for an opportunity, right? I want to buy low, sell high, so I'm looking for an opportunity. Is there a juicy opportunity? Well, a juicy opportunity might be something like 5% or less, or sorry, like more loss, right? 5 to 10%. If it's down 10% again, double digits, I'm curious. I'm looking into that. What happened? Why did it go down 10%? That's a big deal, right? 10% could mean a very good buying opportunity, okay? So I do want to look at the negatives as well, not for what I lost or what may be losing, but what is a good opportunity to buy? Because in the worst case scenario, like Kasha said a few weeks ago, I think it was like session 4 or session 5, she said, if anything, I'd just be patient. I'd just wait a little longer. Yeah, because we're in a bull market. We're in a long-term bull market, okay? So after I've done that, then I'm going to look at my holdings. I look at my wallet. I look at what I'm actually holding. Because it's only $1,000 in here, I'm only holding 2 things. Just checking the time. So I'm holding Ethereum and I'm holding EOS right now. And then Tether is my cash, right? It's my cash stablecoin, okay? So you can click here and see how much. Just over 20%. I put in $1,000. My account right now is $1,001.56. Ooh, I made a buck. Okay. And so Tether, I've got 21%, right? Why? Oops, that was an accident. Did not mean. Yeah, same thing. Same screen. What I really wanted to do was, here. Okay, so Tether. So I've got, like I said, 21% in cash. Okay, and that's why, because I want to take advantage of good deals, right? Always. EOS, I've got $308 in EOS, which is about 100 EOS. And then Ethereum 1.19, which is $474. So I am so not familiar with the computer. I always do everything on my mobile. So look, so I want to see the total value of my account. So I've got a good mental marker of what the total value of my account is. If it's going up, that's good. Thumbs up, I'm making the right choices. I only funded this account yesterday. And this morning, let's see if I can, no, I don't know if it'll do a new window. This morning when I looked, no, that ain't going there. This morning when I looked, my account was at $1,009. I was like, whoa, $9. Actually, I'm just kidding. I just was like, oh, that's nice, $9, good job. I bought Ethereum. I'll show you that in a second. I bought Ethereum. I thought it would go up. I was like, okay, great, it's going to go up, whatever. And it went to like $1,009. So I made $9, okay, which is almost 1%. But it's just a day. It's just a account for my wife. It's just $1,000. Not a big deal for me. So I'm like, let's just see what happens, right? So first thing is I'm looking at markets, the percentages. I'm investing any coins that intrigue me about, any major changes or whatever. I'm looking for 10% fluctuations mostly. I'm looking at all percentages and I'm interested in all of it, but I'm really zoning in on any double digits, okay? Because that means something massive happened. So I'm looking at my holdings. Quick snapshot of my holdings, $1,000. If it goes down a couple bucks, I'm not panicking. Goes up a couple bucks, I'm not panicking. I'm not worried. This account is going to be more long-term. This will be a little bit of an experimental account, actually. She doesn't know this. It's not for her. She's got her own account on BitBuy. But I'm going to do some interesting things with this, and we'll just see, right? But my mental marker is my account up or down, and how much is it up or down? Okay, those are the questions I'm asking myself, if in case you're taking notes. Is it going up or is it down? How much is it going up or down? With this account value of 1,000, I'm not going to worry if it goes up or down, 50 bucks. I might get concerned when it goes up or down 100 bucks, but 50 bucks, I'm not really that concerned, but that's just me. So after I check my wallet, the next thing I check on is my orders. So what happened with my orders since the last session? Okay, so I'm gonna click orders, I'm gonna click spot, and spot is like right now, the market right now, trading the markets at their current prices right now. Butch mentioned a few weeks ago about leverage and margin. I'm not doing that, and I definitely do not recommend that for you as a beginner. I do not recommend that. Margin orders and leverage orders are where you take loans. You take a loan to trade more. So you're using their money to make more on every trade. So instead of having 300 bucks, you could have like 900 bucks, but you're borrowing that from them. I do not recommend that at all for any of you right now as beginners. Okay, I don't even do that myself. I barely do that myself. All right, that's why, like the guy earlier who was kind of freaking out in the chat in one of the groups, I was like, dude, just like take it easy, take it in baby steps. You have to eat this elephant one bite at a time. Chill out, take it easy, take it in baby steps. Okay, don't do any loans as a beginner. That's very, very dangerous. You could wipe out your account and wipe out your whole value and everything you've worked for. You don't want that. It's too early for that. Okay, that's like an advanced course, right? Maybe in the future we can do that. So what I want to look at after looking at the markets and after looking at my wallet is my orders. So I want to know what orders were triggered, what orders are still outstanding. Let's write this down. Okay, in the orders section, this is such a mental process. I've never like mapped this out. What orders were triggered? What orders are left standing? And what orders do I need to adjust? This is very important. Okay, this mostly means stop limit orders. Okay, so what orders were triggered? Again, this is just $1,000. I only had a few things, but let's see. Okay, so this is me yesterday. I bought Ethereum and I bought EOS, which is an altcoin. So I got a main coin, I got an altcoin, and I got my cash, my stable coin. Okay, so I bought 1.2 Ethereum, and the price was $396.03 that I bought it at. So let's just go back and compare. Make sure you guys are still with me. All right. So where's Ethereum? 395. Okay, 395.98. It's down 1%. Am I freaking out? No, because 1 to 3 or even 5% is quite normal. 1 to 3 is very common. Even 5% could be quite normal. Okay. So the high, remember up here, 24-hour high, 24-hour low. So the high, I don't usually go into this much detail, but I want to do this for you just to notate. Okay, so it almost made $401. It almost went to $401. And the lowest it went to is $390. So it's just above the middle point here at 396. So let's click back. And sometimes I have to do this. I have to click back, or I go to my trading journal, right? I have my trading tracker here on speed dial. It's bookmarked. So I go to my trading tracker and I click and see, okay, what did I buy it at? Okay, great. I bought it at 396. No panic, right? And no real reason to adjust any stop. No, there's no reason to adjust any stop. We'll come back to that. EOS, I bought it at 306.29 or 306.29, and it's at 310.19. Great, awesome. We're in profit right now. Brilliant. Okay. Am I that excited? No. You can hear it in my voice. I'm not that thrilled. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's great. I like it. I'm happy, but it's not going to make or break my world, right? So it's $3.10 right now. I bought it at 306. I'm in a profit right now. Great, awesome, perfect. Way to go. And then what was the high? 319. Look, see, it just went down to 309. Doesn't matter. It went up to 319, went down to 299. Okay, no big deal. If I see this and I think and I see, wow, let's say for example, you know, it went to 289. Oh shit, wow, dang, that would have been good. I might say to myself, that would have been a good buying opportunity. Okay, and then I might look at, you know, could I have bought? I might go back, look at the chart. What did I miss? What could I have done? That sort of thing. Okay, I might check in my chat groups that I pay for and see what's going on if they're talking about EOS or whatever crypto in that example. Okay, so it's 306. I bought it at. It's 309 right now. Am I going to adjust my stop loss? No, it's only 3 cents. Remember with Butch, and this came up once or twice in the last couple of weeks, adjusting your stop losses as they go up is a very fun thing, and it's a very wise, smart thing. So that will allow you to lock in the profit. That was key. That was very, very key. So for example, in my main account, in my large account, I own XTZ. You saw, I posted in the chat a nice snapshot of some profits I made on XTZ. Now XTZ, I bought, where did it just go? It just moved up. I bought it at, you know, let's say like 306. And I set my initial stop loss to prevent any losses at like 291. Okay, sounds about right. What I'm going to do now is I'm probably now going to adjust it to 3.16. So on my main account, where I actually hold this coin, I'm going to increase the stop loss so that I actually lock in some profits. So if it goes up, great, it just continues to go up. Wonderful, brilliant, fantastic. If it goes down, it'll trigger at 316 and I'll lock in the profit. Okay? So, do I need to adjust any stop losses here? I can tell you right now the answer is no, right? I got my Ethereum stop limit order at 385. Okay, so the order is going to trigger when the price hits 386.13. That's when it'll set an order. It'll initiate an order for 385.03. Okay. Now I notice I don't have a stop loss on my EOS. So let's do that. Let's set stop loss right now on EOS. So I bought EOS at 3.06. 5% of that would be what? 290. Okay, I'm multiplying it by 9.95, which is 95%. So 5 minus 100 is 95, obviously. So 306. Now 5% of that, like I said, would be. Wait a sec. Sorry. What the hell is going on? What am I doing wrong here, guys? It's because you guys are here. Okay, so 290. So 290 would be a 5% stop loss. So you're gonna scroll down this big, huge window because I'm not used to doing this on the computer here. So I'm gonna put my stop limit order. Now, I also remember saying to you guys, go with your gut. So even though the math says 290, I feel better about, and I feel in my gut that 291 is right. So I'm just going to do 291, let's say like 95. So if the price hits 291.95, then it's going to set or send an order for 295.10. Okay, and notice that there's a gap here. Remember that the gap is because if sometimes the orders go so fast, then it can be dangerous, and I have seen the stop loss not get triggered because the data, it just overwhelms the system, right? You remember me saying this. The data and the orders just overwhelm the system, and it trickles down like a waterfall so fast sometimes it misses. So I put a big enough gap so that if the orders are cascading down like a waterfall, it will trigger. Okay, it should trigger. How do you know when that is? I usually give it, it depends on the coin, but you know, I think like 80 cents. This is actually, the important thing is this is not even a cent. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is supposed to be that. Yeah. This is not even a cent of difference, right? It's still 291, basically 292. Okay, so I'd say 80 cent. Forgive me. It's not even 80 cents. It's 0.8 of a cent. So it does not make a lick of a difference in my total account value. Okay, and then the amount I want to sell, let's say, you know what, I want to sell half because I really like EOS and I think it's a little underpriced and it's going to go up higher and I'm confident about it and, you know, all this stuff. Look, this is a little chart. This is a 4-hour chart on EOS. So look, it reached a peak high of 347 just a few days ago. And then it's back down now to 310. So I'm gonna just do half, you know. Also, this is my play account. Like I'm playing with my wife. It's kind of experimental. So I'm gonna do half. Could do half or full, but basically I'm gonna do half because I do want to keep long term. So if in case it'll go lower, I want to buy. All right. So this is gonna stop limit sell order. If the last price drops to or below 291.95, an order to sell that much EOS at a price of 291 will be placed. Okay. Now there you go, bang. So now if I go back to my orders, open orders, there she blows. Okay, there it is. And that's really it, guys. That's really all I'm doing. So notice that it takes 20 minutes morning and night, right? 20-minute sessions. Look at the markets, look at the wallet, adjust your, look at your orders. So it's like, first it's, number one, it's look at markets, look for 10% changes in either direction, look for any significant changes overall. Okay, number one. Number two, look at wallet. Check for major changes. Check account value. Don't panic. Okay. Explore any new coins and any new. Okay, so those are the 3 things I'm doing. And that's basically it, right? If you have extra time, you might want to research new coins or new things, okay? And then in general, like I said, sometimes 20 minutes sometimes 20 minutes goes into an hour or it goes into 40 minutes or half an hour. So in that time, I might look up a new coin or I might look up an old coin. It's rare that I look up an old coin, actually. Now, here's a question you might be wondering. What is this? What is BTC down and what is BTC up? Because that's not a coin. Binance has a lot of really cool features and so many of them I have not even explored. Look, Binance has ETFs now, okay? Binance has futures, which is making trades and bets based on future price assumptions. So that's called futures. You can even do that. I don't do that. I don't bother with that. I just like to do, I'm pretty vanilla. I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it easy. And too complicated can be too complicated. This isn't my way of life. This isn't my income. This is like my hobby and my growing excitement and growing passion, and it's also my investment. Okay, and I know that too much can mean distractions and can mean loss of focus. Right? I've been there before, where years ago in the stock market, where you're checking every 5 minutes, you're checking every hour on the hour, drives you mental, and you lose focus. We don't do that here. Okay. So that's really it. So what are the BTC up and what's the BTC down? It's something new that I'm going to experiment with in this account, and it's basically taking like a future guess of the price of Bitcoin. So it's like instead of actually buying Bitcoin back and forth, you just buy this. If you think it's going to go up, it's like buying a stock or shares in this stock, which says Bitcoin is going to go up. Okay, so if you just bought this, you could just sell later once the price goes up and you make profit. It's a weird thing. It's an interesting thing. I'm going to experiment with it. Now, this is really cool. If you think the price of Bitcoin is going to go down, like let's say we just had a big, huge run up, or we just had a big price increase, or some big bad news just came out, or something like that, you could buy this, and this would effectively short Bitcoin for you. Okay, you could actually short Bitcoin this way. You could take a betting that Bitcoin would go down and that it would short. Now that's risky and that's dangerous, and obviously I don't recommend that, and that's kind of like an advanced thing too. But in case you're wondering what this is what this is. I might experiment with this because the price does go up and down, and going down does happen. And since, look at that, I don't even know, never even done that before. Since we are just making bets after all and making assumptions, it's fair to assume that the price will go up and that the price will go down, and you can make money both ways, which is really, really quite interesting. I have a light. It's not doing nothing. I see my light is fading here. Okay, so that's it. That is it. All right, and then I'm going to look long term at Bitcoin. I usually always look long term at Bitcoin. You always want to know what Bitcoin is doing. So whether you're actually buying and trading Bitcoin or not, you always want to know what Bitcoin is doing. Why? Because as you know, Bitcoin drives the whole market, the whole overall market. Okay, what happens with Bitcoin dictates what happens with everything else, right? Let's do a little Q&A if we can. Can you show us the USDT account where the profit went? Can you say more about that? What do you mean by that?
Well, you know how you used, you put your stop limit on EOS. You didn't have one, and you were putting the sell and whatnot, and then like when you're going to do a profit. So at some point you sell it. It has to go to your stable coin.
Yes.
So where do I find that?
Well, I haven't sold yet, right? But if I sold, it would be here in my wallet. So once I sell, remember that you give one thing up for the other thing, right? So you give one thing up for the other. So I have right now in this wallet Tether, right, which is US dollar stablecoin, EOS, and Ethereum. If I sold Ethereum, the Ethereum would disappear. This amount would disappear, and the converted amount would go into Tether. Does that make sense?
Sorry, because Tether is a stable coin?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Tether US, that's a stable coin. That's the main stable coin that I trade with. I mentioned before Tether and DAI, DAI. Those are the two that I trade with. So if I liquidate Ethereum, if I sell Ethereum and I do it against Tether, I'll get Tether, right? Let me show you. So look, if I click here, spot markets, this is where all the coins are right now. So we're out of my favorites and we're now in all the spot markets. So we got every coin imaginable, and there's too many, guys, on Binance. There's so many. So I'm just going to click fiat markets because I like to measure against fiat dollars, which is, paper money, traditional money. And here you can pick your fiat dollars. So now with Binance, you can even trade in Russian dollars or Great British pound or euros or the Australian dollar. I don't want to do any of those. I just want to keep it simple and do the US dollar. Okay, and I'm either going to do this using DAI, which is not on here, or I'm going to do it with USDT. Now, I usually do it with USDT, but these are the other stable coins as well. True USD, USDC, and PAX. And now Binance has their own stable coin called BUSD, which is just a Binance US dollar coin. Okay?
And again, so I'm clear, USDT is Tether.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. So I can sell and I can give up my Ethereum for Tether, or I can click this and I can do it for this other stable coin here, True USD, which is a different one, but very similar, TUSD. So I can sell my Ethereum for TUSD, which is another stable coin. Or I can click here, I have all these options, right? I can click here and I can sell my Ethereum for PAX, which is another stable coin. Notice that they're all pretty much $395.50, the same price. Okay, they're all pretty much the same price, $395, give or take a few cents. Okay, now remember, so now you can use fiat currencies. Great British Pound, that's London, right? England, Australian dollar. I don't even know what these other ones are, man. Rubles, that's India, I think. I thought it was the Russian. I think it's rubles, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's that. So that answers your question. When we are looking at 5 coins twice a day, do you recommend keeping track of them on a spreadsheet so we can review back over time? No, I don't recommend that. However, your personality type may be that is good for you. If you're super detailed, very analytical, if you love data, if you love data, then you can do this. And what you're talking about is keeping track of 5 different coins on a spreadsheet. Yes, if you are that kind of person, there are some people that are super in love with numbers and spreadsheets. She says, LOL. Tina, that might be you. You might be, that's 2% of the population, right? That might be my dad, So totally, if you want. For me, this is good enough. I click here, I come to the data, I see it, bang, perfect. Okay, and if I really want, I can do this. And I only do this once in a while. Check this out. Price history, Yahoo, Bitcoin. And Yahoo is a funny website. They have their own finance website. And historical data, okay? Historical data. This might help you. This might be what you want. You could just pop this in a spreadsheet. You could just, copy, paste, or look. They even let you download it into a spreadsheet if you like. Sometimes I do this just to get a numerical, line by line interpretation of the price, because sometimes it's better this way, rarely, but sometimes it's good, and I need to see this for some reason, instead of a chart. Okay, so good question. Otherwise, no, I would not do that. That might drive you insane. Unless you're that kind of person. Okay. And that's it, guys. That's all I'm doing. I'm just doing those few things every day, twice a day, morning and night. I'm just doing these 3-4 things, right? I'm just doing those 3-4 things. Always make a note of what Bitcoin is doing, guys, because Bitcoin drives the whole market. Okay, so always make a note of what Bitcoin is doing. I always just have a mental marker, and as you're doing this twice a day, every day, twice a day, every day, you will get this sense and you'll get this knowledge, and it'll really help you because you'll know where things are going and what's happening really easily. Awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So we're at just about the top of the hour, and somehow we evolved into hour and a half from an hour. I don't mind though. This is our last session, guys. I'm nostalgic. I'm ah. So Kasha, okay, yeah, what's your question about that and Brave?
So I set it up as an opportunity to collect the tokens, right? The back tokens. And now I'm trying to transfer them because each month they give you the credit. So now I want to take advantage of that credit. And how do I transfer it? I'm not really sure how to Uphold.
So it should be in Uphold automatically. So right now, right, I've got, so far this month, I've got 3.6 BAT. So I'm going to go here, click this. It says, oh no, your wallet is unreachable. No worries, this happens for a variety of reasons. Reconnecting your wallet will solve this issue. Let me tell you, this happens often actually for some reason to me. I'm not too sure why, but for some reason this does disconnect often. So you're going to go to Uphold, or I think maybe you can go in here. Click Brave Rewards. It says disconnected. Well, guess what? I want to reconnect this puppy.
Can I show you my screen and then maybe you can tell me
Sure.
if it's in there? Just sorry, because it'd probably be easier. I probably have it in there. Sorry. That's the wallet right there. Can you see that?
Hold on. Did you share? I think. Oh, you're doing that. Okay. Hold on. Let me make your video bigger. Yes, I see. Okay.
That's it. Okay. So is that it then?
Your wallet is verified. So your Uphold wallet is connected to the Brave browser right now.
And so this says my rewards summary, which is August. That's
Yes.
what you were showing. And I'm showing that
Yes.
I have this.
Yes.
No. Okay. And then how do I take this? Can I take this and put it onto my Binance?
Yes, you can. Yes,
For
you can.
playing
Go to.
with it?
Yes, you can. Go to the left and sign in to Uphold on the left.
So not here. You mean up like here?
Yeah. Go left to the left. Now I mean actually go to the website and actually sign in to Uphold.
Like this website, Uphold.
You got it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna turn back around here.
Sounds good. Beautiful home, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Hold on one second. Okay. And then you sign in and then you transfer it?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So once you sign in, it'll say you have this, much Brave in there, and then you can then you can basically withdraw it. You probably click withdraw, and then you will have to give them your Binance wallet address for for BAT token. So let me share my screen.
So I can send to a cryptocurrency or utility token, yes?
Exactly. So yeah. So now I'm going to click. Actually, here I want to do this. So what I would do is I would go here. I'll go to my wallet. Go deposit and withdraw spot wallet, right? And then it's going to ask me, what I want to, what coin or whatever. So I'm going to go spot, search coin, type in BAT. Here we go, BAT. And then I'm going to put right here, it says deposit. So now this is going to give me a wallet address for me to deposit my BAT tokens or my BAT coin. So I'm going to click deposit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's this address here. Send only BAT to this address. Sending anything other than BAT will screw that up. You don't want to do that. So you're basically this is the wallet address.
Yes.
And it's an ERC20 address, which is Ethereum, which is what it is. So it's built on the Ethereum platform. So you're going to copy this. Great. Copy to clipboard. And you're going to go over here into your Uphold, which you should be logged into now. Right? And then you're going to paste the address. So I guess, let's see if I can do this right now. I might as well actually do this with you. Stop my screen share for a sec. Look at that. I have $14 worth of Uphold. Isn't that nice?